up, good people? You got Vell here, aka Vell, and welcome to my channel, The Evolution of Vell. Yes, I'm back, and I apologize because I am very late with this story. So it has been rough trying to balance people, but we're gonna get it together. One day I won't have to juggle, won't have to balance with, corporate life and this life. But anyway, let's get to it, people. In this video, I'm going to give you an update on the Terica Ellis bond hearing, which I know there's other people out there who've already talked about this. However, I have my own perspective, which I think is unique in some ways. So before we get into that, if you're new to this channel, you're gonna wanna subscribe below. So you can take that time to do it now. Yes, subscribe below and click that notification bell so that you will be aware of when I upload new videos weekly and those ones sprinkled in. Yes, and if you are already a part of the EOV family and the notification gang and the comment below gang, thank you guys. I appreciate you for helping this channel grow. Please also share and like this video to help us grow even more. So with that, let's get into this story. So Terica Ellis did have a virtual bond hearing with Judge Charmaine Claxton on September the 2nd of 2020. It has been reported that Terrica did not speak during the hearing. However, she did start crying when she realized that she was not going to be released on bond and instead would remain in custody of Mason, Tennessee until the U.S. Marshals could transfer her to St. Louis County for her trial. There were a few reasons why Judge Claxton denied Terrica's bond at the request of the prosecution. Some of the reasons cited was that Terrica was a flight risk. She actually had active warrants in Missouri, allegedly due to some acts within the strip club that were not legal. And in the past, she had already missed other court appearances that had nothing to do with this particular case. So she has a little bit of a history with law enforcement, obviously, at this point. What we also found out during the hearing is that Andre actually met Terrica at a strip club called Bottoms Up in Brooklyn, Illinois, which is right outside of East St. Louis, while she was a temporary dancer there because she was a traveling dancer. So she danced at multiple clubs and she happened to be there for a stint, and that's where they met. They then exchanged telephone numbers and eventually her Instagram information as well. So per her request, Andre would be able to direct message her. While Terrica was a dancer at that strip club, she had also previously met Tim Norman, and they began a on and off sexual relationship. One night, Tim invited Terrica to his hotel room at the Chase Plaza Hotel, and they had sexual relations, and afterwards they both showered and were having conversation as she was about to leave, and she asked Terrica if she was aware and knew of his cousin Andre Montgomery. She then replied, "Yes, I do know Andre." So allegedly he then told her that he needs to reach out and catch up with Andre because Andre has stolen $200,000 from his home. Now what I've been hearing is a conflict of information. So in the complaint, it's saying that Tim is actually saying Andre stole the $200,000 from him and his home. However, what I keep hearing in the internet streets is that people are thinking Miss Robbie's break-in of her home that was aired on the show, that people are thinking that's the break-in where the $200,000 was stolen. However, based on the information from the hearing and what we're hearing from Terrica, Tim is saying that the money was stolen from his home. So he had his own home invasion, break-in, etc., where the money was stolen from him. And it makes a little bit more sense that he would be likely to have $200,000 cash at home because of his mindset versus Miss Robbie, who might be a little bit more old school about that and be like, I'm not keeping that kind of money around my house and I'm an older lady who lives alone. Like, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So that would make a little bit more sense. So again, that's just what I'm hearing thus far, but we will, as the story unfolds, the pieces are coming together. The puzzle pieces are all over the place. There are some facts and there's some misunderstanding here, but it looks like the money was actually stolen from Tim's home, not the break-in that we're all familiar with Miss Robbie's home. So keep that in mind as we move forward. But hey, the information could change, but that's what it looks like is actually happening here. So at that point, basically, Tim involved Terrica in his plot to get back at Andre. But he basically wanted to use her as the bait to lure Andre out of wherever he would be hiding so that he could then do what he wanted to do to Andre. And I go into great detail with the criminal complaint in the video linked above, so you can check that out if you want to get into details of that. Some other details that came out during Terica's bail hearing was the fact that once she had made contact with Andre and was setting up the plot with Tim, she went to the Galleria Mall in St. Louis and purchased Andre a pair of pants. She then reached out to Andre to let him know that she had a gift for him, a pair of pants, and she basically wanted to meet up with him to do the exchange and give him his gift. And so she then let Tim know that she had made contact with him, and Tim's response was, "My boys aren't ready yet. My boys aren't ready yet." So Terrica was definitely aware that something was going down. She claims to have ignorance of the fact that Tim was actually planning to murder Andre. In her mind, from what is alleged, she thought maybe, I guess, he was going to get jumped on instead, but not killed. Possible, who knows? However, once Tim's boys were ready, he then informed Terrica, and then she made arrangements to actually meet up with Andre. And I think that was what I read in the criminal complaint. She basically reached out to him in the 7 o'clock hour, and then by 8:02, 8:03 or whatever, Andre was murdered. So Terrica arranged to meet up with Andre, made the call to him. She arrived and then had him come out to the car. They're saying that Andre sat in the car with her for some amount of time, and whatever happened there, and they exchanged the pants, and basically I think her job was to hold him until Tim's boys were in place to then carry out whatever act that she thought was going to happen. Andre then got out of the car, and Terrica immediately drove off. She stated that once she pulled off, she heard gunshots. However, she did not call the police. She instead sent Tim a text message stating, "Andre has just been shot." Tim then replied, "Dump this phone and stay out of St. Louis." So this kind of, to me, in the message that she said, like, Andre has just been shot, and her saying Andre has just been shot, seems to me like there may have been a little surprise on her part that that's what was going down, versus saying it's done, like she's saying, like, oh my God, like, anyway, so I kind of feel like there's a chance she did not know that, and this is my speculation, this is my commentary, I feel like there's a slight chance that she was set up in a way to go along with a plot that she didn't realize was going to be as detrimental, literally, as what it ended up being. However, nonetheless, once she found out he was shot, she still did not report anything. And also, she did know that she was receiving $10,000 for it. But I don't know, then it makes more sense that, because we've all said, $10,000 ain't enough to, like, take someone's life, but maybe $10,000 is enough to get somebody jumped on, like get them set up to be jumped on and be like, I don't know what happened. That's something to think about. But as this unfolds, we'll learn, people. So then Terrica basically, as I explained in the other video, actually drove all the way to Memphis, Tennessee. And I guess this is, again, like maybe she was kind of taken off guard with what actually went down, because wouldn't she probably have dumped the phone in St. Louis versus driving it home to be tracked? I don't know. But anyway, she drove the phone to Memphis, Tennessee, where she finally dumped it. And that's how the FBI was actually able to track it. But then the other side of it is kind of like, I don't know. This story is very confusing. It's like, I don't know which way to go. Because the other part is, if you were just setting him up to be jumped on, why would you need a burner phone? Why would you tell him to delete that your number and only communicate with you via the burner phone? Yeah, and why would you just buy the pants only to be able to meet up with him? So I don't know. This is very interesting. But some of the other things we found out about Terrica is that she's a 36-year-old mother of 2 young children. So it's like, now you're putting yourself in this situation, and now your children may be grown by the time you ever are able to be out and see them again. And and the other piece is, who's the shooter? So that's another question that we've really been getting asked during this whole thing in our comment section. And they are alluding to there being another party who is the actual shooter. However, it has not been revealed to us, and I'm not sure if it's because they don't actually know who that shooter is and they're waiting on somebody to trick off, and it looks like Terrica's she's singing like a bird. So I don't know if that's the case. However, they have not revealed that to us yet. But as we see in that text message that I talked about earlier, Tim does say, my boys aren't ready yet. So that alludes to there being other people involved, unless he was lying to her even in the text message and he's his boys, because maybe he pulled up behind and did it. You just don't know. We don't know. We're finding out as this goes, people. So as for now, Terica Ellis is definitely staying in jail and will be extradited to St. Louis, Missouri for her trial. And so as far as Tim, because I've been asked questions about like what's going on with Tim's bond hearing. Well, Tim was supposed to have his bond hearing on Wednesday, August the 26th. However, that judge, Linda Anderson, in the U.S. Court of Jackson, Mississippi, ordered that Tim be returned to St. Louis, Missouri, and turned over to their U.S. District Court. So I think he is being held until that transfer is official, and I don't know. Maybe they'll have the bond hearing there. I'm not a legal analyst. I don't know. I only know what I can read and what I can find in those internet streets. So that's all we know about Tim. He is still, of course, being held, and I did hear that he was definitely being denied bond as well because of the fact that he was definitely a flight risk and had lived in Mexico or visited Mexico like 4 different occasions over the past couple of years. He has homes in multiple states, California and I think Texas and Jackson, Mississippi. So he's a complete flight risk and he is not getting out before his trial for sure. But that is all that we have for this. If you have made it to this point in the video, comment below, bond denied. Yes, bond denied, because we need their bond to be denied until we really figure out what's going on here. We don't need them roaming these streets, causing more chaos in people's worlds and in their own family lives. Hold them until we can have a fair trial and figure out what the heck is going on with this situation. So with that, there's more information. There's like the overall update. I am dragging. I'm so sorry that I have not been able to roll these out as quick as I want. Just, it's life, people, it's life. So the trials and tribs of a YouTuber who's multitasking with corporate life and a YouTube life. One day I will not have to do that with your help. But anyway, till next time, until I turn this camera, until I'm able to turn this camera on again, make sure to take care and be blessed. Peace.